Hi there, and welcome to Essential Talks. Bit of a solo endeavour today, just myself here talking. And I'm going to give this opportunity of just myself to talk about something that I've done and been practicing recently. And it's the first time I'm probably openly talking about it to a wider audience. I've spoken to it one-to-one, and I've done a couple Instagram posts about it, but never sort of articulated my thoughts and feelings towards it. So I thought now would be a good time to do it. And what I'm going to talk about today is meditation. I'm not going to be teaching you meditation, by the way. I'm not going to be doing a guided meditation. I'm not going to be telling you how to do it. Maybe sort of little bits, but more like the principles and the mythology behind it. You know, if you are interested in learning it, you can message me directly and I can point you in the right direction. That's absolutely fine. But meditation, so let's just get to it, how I got into it, or how I found it. I definitely dabbled in it like years and years and years and years ago. I've always been interested in states of mind, altered states of consciousness, you know, biohacking, productivity benefits, and all stuff like this. It's always sort of interested me. But because I always went in and out of it for that sort of reason, it never gained any traction. And I think that's probably why it never gained any traction, because I wanted that thing out of it. You know, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to be a fucking floating Jedi motherfucker, and I'm going to read people's minds and control shit. And it doesn't really work like that. The sort of art of meditation and mindfulness is the art of letting go. So by having that attachment of thinking of that thing, straight away I fucked myself from ground one of never achieving that. So that was brilliant. But I really started getting into it during the first lockdown. Like many others, experienced different emotions, you know, through a few things. Work went a little bit funny, of course, which was my life. And then certain business ventures we had going went a little bit south. We actually had another premises we were supposed to move into, and that got sort of flattened out. And I was like, oh, well, this isn't good. And for the first time ever had sort of real anxiety, like chest pains, the whole shebang. And I remember sort of, you know, speaking to a doctor, and I knew they were going to say it as the funniest thing. And they was going, maybe it's some anxiety. And I was like, no, fuck off, it's not. I don't get that. I know what it is, I've had it, and it's not. This is actual real chest pain, but lo and behold, it was. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go. I know this was some of the benefits it can bring. I never did it for that purpose beforehand, but I know it had these benefits, so I'm going to give it a shot. And I did it religiously, daily, weekly. I think I've meditated to some degree now every day. Don't get me wrong, it's not like hours sitting every day, like sometimes it's like 5 minutes. Every day for the last sort of, you know, when was it? I can't remember when. Maybe April. So nearly 2 years. And it's amazing. Really, really, really good, useful tool that I believe everyone should do for so many reasons. So what started off as just taking myself away into my inner fortress, how I used to call it, to chill out, close some tabs, which is an analogy I used a lot. I had a lot of these tabs open: work, life, friends, interests, pressures, insecurities, all these things. And it just like, and just overwhelmed. So I just took some time just to slowly close some tabs. Boom, close, close, close. And day by day, just kept closing them tabs. And that made me feel tons better straight away. And if not, like the immediate benefits from it, of just taking that sort of quiet time from a really, really busy life out there, guys. You know, I don't know if you've sort of looked outside. Stimulus is everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Smartphones are the world's best and the world's worst thing all at the same time. You know, I run a whole business off my phone and it's freaking amazing. But at the same time, there's no rest beat because it's just constant. Like I wake up and it's I go to bed and it's why am I saying that? I'm not sure. But it's constant. You know, it's that constant flow of information, constant flow of communication. And it can get a little bit much. You turn on the news and you're flooded with all this stuff, all this worry, all this dread all the time. And it can be bearing, you know, it can really bear down on someone. So just that on its own, taking that small period by themselves to, you know, be by yourself with your thoughts and just chill out is nice. Really, really cool to do that. Then you get, as time goes on, you get the better emotional intelligence, as I call it. I know other people use this phrase and I'm using it as, I don't know if I'm using it in the right way, but for me, what it means, emotional intelligence, is to have better control of your emotions, into your reactions, into your moods, and stuff like this. So it means certain situations, you're not going to react in certain ways, you're going to react better. You know, you're going to be able to acknowledge thoughts and feelings better. You know, when a worry comes in, you're like, oh, okay, recognise this one now. It's worry. It has the potential to make me feel X, Y, Z, but I'm just going to see it as it is and I'm just going to let it sort of do its thing. It's never, with meditation, it's never pushing away thoughts and feelings. So it's never, they come in and they're like, oh no shit, don't want to think about that right now. Okay, I'm just going to push that down real deep and I'm just going to hold it there until it bursts out of me like Alien versus Predator sort of shit. It's like seeing it come in, acknowledging it, you know, letting it do its thing. If it wants to stay, it stays. If it wants to go, it goes. Just let it do its own thing. Getting a little bit spiritual and hippie on you there, but it doesn't have to be spiritual and hippie if you don't want it to. You know, this is the thing. I think a lot of people will listen to this, myself or other sort of meditation gurus. I'm not a guru, by the way. I was using that in a different context. Some meditation gurus, and that they think it has to be spiritual and they have to become a monk or this sort of thing. And it doesn't have to be, guys. It can literally just be some small bit of breath work, focusing on your breath, having a little body scan, a little chill out, a body relaxation thing. It can be whatever you want it to be. If you're someone like myself, very obsessed, you turn it into something spiritual and, you know, this quest of self-discovery and God knows where else it's going to take me. And you can do that, which is really cool, but it's very similar to the gym. You can dabble in it as much as you want. It's not like you go and lift one weight and then you're competing in Olympia bodybuilding. And it's not like you sit down with your eyes closed for 5 minutes and you become fucking enlightened Jedi warrior monk motherfucker. It doesn't work like that. It's whatever you want it to be, which is really the beautiful thing. So for, you know, them reasons alone, it's benefited me absolutely loads. And don't get me wrong, I still get stressed, I still get angry, I still get upset, I still get jealous, I still get sad, all these things. But I find the more I go through this, the more I meditate and the more I deal with this, the better it gets, you know, and it's only going to get better from day to day. So that's my personal experience with it. And I definitely recommend it to everyone. I think absolutely everyone would benefit from this, guys. I think a lot of the reason why people struggle with it is because none of us want to sit alone with our own thoughts. Sitting alone with our own thoughts is a very scary thought by itself, because it means we've got to sit there and we've got to deal with our past trauma, our current emotions, our worries, our anxieties, and that's a really, really daunting and horrible thought. But let me tell you, the longer you leave it and the longer you brush all them things under the carpet, eventually they will burst through, and they will burst through in full fucking colour. So by dealing with that and acknowledging them and looking at them, it's really, really important, really, really important. And I think from doing that, like how many of you have been, you know, not in a moment because you've been worrying about something? Like you've been with your family, but you're thinking about work, or you're thinking about the argument you had with your friend the other day, or you're thinking about something completely different. And it's taking you out of that moment. So if we never process things and we never deal with things, then how would we ever be in that present position, So I think that's another really good aspect from it. The further you get into this, you start seeing how complicated the mind really is and how clever it is, because a lot of things it does is to protect us. If we look at someone with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, the reason they will experience all this stuff is because their mind, is protecting them from something that's happened before. So the body can go into shutdown, or memories can get blurred. This panic attack can happen because you're in this sort of sense of frenzy and this sense of fear, and it is just your body trying to help itself. And when we sit with meditation and we see all these things, we can experience these negative emotions sometimes. I've had a couple sessions where I've sat and I've been thinking of stuff that's gone on in my life, and my heart rate elevates and I can feel myself getting flushed in the face and things like this. But instead of going, oh no, I don't want to think about that, you acknowledge it. I'm like, okay, this is making me feel like this. And one thing I've learned, guys, is you can't ever fight this shit. You really can't ever fight this shit. For instance, these feelings that you've tried to battle your whole life, these anxieties and stuff, has battling it and trying to fight it off and sort of ignoring it, has that ever worked? Like, when you have exhausted all that time and all that effort of thinking, right, if I just forget about this, or if I think about that situation in a different way, that's the best one. Like, I'll have situations and I'll try and justify. I'm like, no, maybe they were thinking this, or I was doing it this way, and that's why it happened that way. And I try and justify it, but you'll tire yourself out. Like, mentally, you will exhaust yourself from trying all these different options until you think fucking nothing works. And the only thing to do once that happens is the surrender and the letting go. When you surrender to it and you think, fuck, I can't change this, I'm just gonna let it do, whoa, okay, and then you just let it go, let it do what it wants, that's when the magic really happens. So there's some of the insights that I learned whilst meditating, and it's really weird, guys. I'm just sitting here talking to this camera, and I'm saying this stuff, and I'm gonna have to watch this back, because I'm not gonna lie to you. The last 5 minutes, I'm not exactly sure what I've been saying, so I'm gonna watch it back, and I'm gonna cut it short there. And because it is short, I know it's not as long as our normal episodes, but I'm gonna post this up regardless of what the fuck I just said on that camera, and just to see what's gone on and see the response I got from it. Thanks for watching, guys. A little bit of a different one today. I hope that helps someone who might be watching thinking, I might give this a go, because I've tried a lot of things to better my mental state, and nothing's really come from it. So yeah, drop me a message either on Instagram, jamie.mitchell, on the Essential Talks Instagram, Essential Training. Come visit me in the gym. I'm always happy to talk about things like this. Thanks a lot for watching.